Extreme here, really excited on a Sunday morning. It is 9:55 a.m. I have no idea when this will air, so it could be very different for a few reasons. One, it's a holiday weekend. I'm really excited. Two, I unboxed something, my first unboxing in a week, and it is spectacular. And three, I'm drinking because when I went to unbox this bitch on a Facebook page, I was told to start drinking. Actually, I asked if I could, and they said I could. So let's roll it. Check out my new intro. Extreme here with a statue by Prime 1 Studios. This is a 1/3 scale piece, meaning it's 1/3 the actual size in real life. So for example, if Batman is 6 feet tall, he would be 2 feet tall from here to here. They made 1,750 of these, so 1,750. 1,000 of them were what we call the collector's edition or normal edition. And then they had an additional 750 that offered an additional swap out item. That additional swap out item is this Batarang that you see right here. And in this particular circumstance, there was no price difference between the exclusive, so the extra Batarang, and the regular. Sometimes there is like $50 to $100, or even lately $200 or $300, which makes sense. I wouldn't want to pay more money for one little piece of resin plastic or whatever it is right here. I purchased this in May of 2019 on their summer sale, and with economy shipping I got it for $800. So I wanted to get it because Prime 1 1/3 DC, as you guys, if you've seen my reviews before, I have tons of those. I think it's one of the best statues in the game, and I don't know the Batman Beyond character from Arkham very well, but I know it looks badass. I don't play video games, so which we'll talk about in a second. And I see him go on eBay for over $1,000, so I figured worst case scenario, I can get a brand new from the manufacturer for $800, and I could break even if I didn't like him. Well, I do love him. Kind of a spoiler alert if you don't want to watch the rest of the video. So he came in standard Prime 1 packaging, art box, and 2 layers of styrofoam. The base here is one piece. The back of the base is another piece, which is unique in their line, which I really liked. Batman Beyond is one piece minus his shoulder pads, forearms, and head. Those are all separate pieces that go in because there are a lot of switch outs that come with this guy. So on the right arm, in addition to this arm that holds the Batarang, you have another arm, as you see here, with, sorry, my phone or my watch was picking up everything I just said and she didn't understand it. But I have an Australian accent on my Surrey because that's sexy. I think accents are sexy, just saying. But anyway, so the switch outs that are offered on the right arm, you also have an open hand, as you see here, almost like he's about to claw at something. And then you have a closed fist, and these are both in addition to the one that holds the Batarang. And the left arm is very similar. Here's the closed fist, and then the open palm. And then for portrait switch outs, you have one here where it's showing his normal skin beneath his mask. And then you can also put on a faceplate on top of that portrait, which looks really badass. And then the other portrait, there is no faceplate, but his skin is blacked out. And as I said, I don't know the origins to this. I've never played the video game. I do have a few other pieces from this line just because they look so badass. I believe Killer Croc's from this line. Someone let me know what other pieces. And I'm assuming he is just because the base looks so similar. But yeah, really cool piece. Let's do dimensions on him. So wide, he's only, he's probably about 18 inches wide. And that includes these guys sticking out. Depth is about 14.5. And height, he is a tall one. Wow, he's almost 33 inches tall. For exact dimensions, please check out Prime One Studios website or Sideshow's website. Sideshow Toys, they distributed this for Prime One back before they had their nasty divorce. So super stoked I got it. He's going in my DC room, which has on these risers on the bottom all the 1/3 pieces. He's probably the 15th edition. And then it has quarter scale all behind them, which one day you will see those on a room tour. One of the reasons I was so excited about this is he's a different looking Batman. Conceptually, he's pretty similar though, so let's talk about the concept and the design. The base here is your standard Batman base, and I recently reviewed Batman Noel, which may or may not have aired, and again, he's on a building top, and there's some type of characters, whether they're gargoyles or weird creatures, and these could even be Joker, I don't know, and he's standing at the top of it, overlooking the city, showing his badassery, showing his power. This one is a museum pose, so a museum pose means he's kind of standing there for a picture to be taken. He's not in the middle of any dynamic action. So traditionally you have a museum pose like this or a dynamic pose where he's in the middle of some action. And he's just standing there, badass. And I like that because a lot of Batman statues could be either or. I do have the Prime One 52 coming where it's a very dynamic action, probably my most dynamic action Batman coming. I'm looking forward to that. And with the design of this, great. It was great. No issues whatsoever. I think the magnets are all very strong. I'm very confident in this piece. I did notice he doesn't have a cape, which he may not in the video game, which is kind of nice. I like the Batmans without a cape. I'm also displaying my Batman XE without a cape, which I don't know if he's from this line or not. But so very good design, basic Batman concept, nothing out of the box, but I don't think it needs to be because where the real star of the show is on the paint and sculpt, particularly of Batman, which we are going to talk about in a minute here. But first we're going to start on the paint and sculpt of the base. And as I said in the Noel review, which may or may not have aired, it's a lot of the same. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you're really good at it, keep doing it. But here you see the different cobblestones that are built in, and there's some shading, not only in the middle of the cobblestones to give it that gray, black, aged look and the cracks in the foundation, but almost like sand between the mortar and where the stones go in. There's a few rustic copperish pipes going up the front of the sides, and then these vines that are growing everywhere, which I don't know if they're tied into the game or they just added those to the statue here. And what's interesting is, just like on Killer Croc, I believe it was, there's a missing stone, and that's on the right side of the statue. And then I love that back that they added to this. So it has a lot of the flavor that we were just talking about, but then it has this cathedral type window with clear resin in between it. I don't know if it's acrylic or resin, but you can almost see through it. You can certainly see the light through it. And another missing stone, and I don't know if there's significance to that. And then there's this gold overlay on the sides. Gives it a really cathedral church type look. And same thing with the front gargoyles. So on both sides you have one that kind of reminds me of a weird looking gargoyle type Joker statue. It's this bronzed gold black look, a little bit different than the pipes. Then the center one is a larger one with horns that go all the way out, and again, this doesn't look like the Joker at all. I don't know if the other ones were the Joker, but good wear and tear to this. And then same thing with the top of the base, so the ledge that's sticking up, again, you continue to have that old stone look with the texture in it and some cracks. And same thing where Batman's feet are. And one thing I really like is you know, you have a statue that's already really tall. He's already 24 plus inches, just him, and then they add another probably, I don't know, how much is this? Another 7 inches, 8 inches on the bottom. It's if you're going to do layering with the statue, so if you have other 1/3 scales that you're going to put in front of here, this will kind of rise them off the ground, kind of a built-in riser, which is neat. But where I'm really impressed is on Batman himself. He's really the star of the show. I absolutely love how decked out he is, and I don't know how accurate or inaccurate this is to the game, but it's awesome looking even if you have no ties to the game. So let's start at his boots here. Interesting looking boots, a lot going on, a lot of different straps, a lot of different texture and almost like armor plates and buckles and things like that. And really throughout the statue there's these 2 colors. It's the black and gray that you see here. And there's a little bit different shades of gray in different areas, but that's really all the coloring. And what amazes me is how the statue still pops with so little and so boring coloring, other than a few red pieces that we're going to see as we go up. But really great job on the shoes, and then he is fully armored out, and that starts right at his ankles going up to his knees. He has different layers of armor and again some straps coming around, and there is a little bit of wear on these where it looks like the gray is almost faded and rusted, which I like my Batmans not to be too clean, so that's perfect. You do see a little bit of red on the knee braces, or the knee pads up front. And then what's really cool is you move up closer, you see a little bit of cloth-like material, texturized suit on the inside of his thighs and right around where his package is. And there's all these folds, and they have this texture with some color variations of the blacks and grays mixed together. And that's really one of the only places you see any type of cloth material on here. And it's protected by these thigh plates, or armor plates, which have black and a tiny bit of red and gray. So again, just some armor that protects him while he's doing his battle, which I like Batman to be a really armor type guy. And then his utility belt, it's all the same, so it's all these pouches, and the pouches almost look like hard case pouches. And again, you have some wear on them, but some buckles and some open clips. This is like a futuristic Batman, almost, my son told me, kind of an Iron Man suit. I do like it. I like the sculpt, I like the colors. And then I'm going to jump to his arms really quick, starting at his hands. So again, these really armored, almost futuristic type gloves he has, where he could really beat criminals to a bloody pulp. Here's another close-up of the Batarang. It looks okay. I definitely will display it just because it's different, and I like Batman to have something in his hands. Then his wrist gauntlets, all strapped up, all armored up, look really good. He only has 2 of the classic spikes, which traditionally you see quite a bit more. A little bit of wear on those. And then as you move up to his bicep area, you do see some more of that cloth type material that you saw on his pants underneath the armor and the straps. His shoulder pads, particularly shiny, like his knee pads, and the back of his gauntlets. And then really quick, looking at his ass here, this is where you see a lot of that material. And it's interesting to me how much detail goes into the back here when you're not going to see the back traditionally. You're just going to display them from the front. And you see more of the utility belt, a lot of the same, but it looks fantastic. And then moving up to the mid of his back, there's this big armor plate with some red marks on it. And I almost wonder if this is some type of, you know, almost like an Iron Man type outfit. And then moving up, he has this cool texture on this neck brace or whatever it is that's moving up, and some cool red stitching on the side. And then on the front, you see the most red in the statue, other than the Batarang, the bat symbol. Looks really cool. Kind of this pale type red, and you see some more of that red stitching in the neck. And then as you move down, he has this armor built over his abs. And you really don't see a lot of muscle definition in this statue because he's so armored up, which I do appreciate, but it just looks great. And then checking out his blackface portrait here. First, his eyes on both portraits are red, and it's a different color red than anywhere else in the statue, kind of a darker red. Kind of hard to tell any expression or detail. His cowl is not necessarily material, it's more armored, and the ears on his cowl, very shiny. A little bit different. And then I'm going to try and review the skin part of the other portrait. So I'm not a fan of the skin colors here, or the way his lips are pursed. Looks kind of girly to me. I wouldn't say that to his face because he'd probably kick my ass. I don't know what it is. There's something that's just not jumping out at me as this is a great looking portrait. But it doesn't really matter because I'm definitely displaying it with the face cover. Which with that on, it looks really, really good. So that's my biggest decision is, do I display this with the face cover, the one we just looked at with the face cover, or do I do the one with the black mouth? I think I'm going to do this, a little bit different than some of my other Batman statues, because my Batman Samurai by XM Studios, my quarter scale one I've reviewed, that's more like that. So this will offer a little bit of variance to it. So that's my thoughts. This is an older piece, obviously, so other people have reviewed it, but it's an awesome piece. I'm very happy to have it. Of my Batman 1/3 statues that I have. So I have this, I have Arkham Origins, Batman Noel, Justice League, Hush, kind of. I think, Flashpoint, and there's one I'm missing. This is in the top 3. This is pretty badass. So really appreciate you guys watching. If you are not a subscriber, please hit subscribe. I get awesome shit like this all the time. Please give me a thumbs up. It helps the visibility of the channel, and a lot more people can see this awesome shit. If you didn't like it, go ahead and give the channel and me a thumbs down, and that actually helps my rating too. So, but I really appreciate your guys' time. Let me know of the different Prime 1 Batman 1/3 statues, which one you would buy if you could only buy one. That'd be really interesting to know. And use all the different factors. So Batman Hush, there's a lot of controversy about right now. That would factor into it. But thanks so much for watching, guys. I will see you next time, and take care.